Good day everyone. So today we will make cream puff. So first we will discuss the ingredients. So we have here some 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half cup of butter, some 1 cup of water, teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then 4 pieces of eggs. So we will cook these until the consistency is mashed potato like. We will now cook our cream puff. So we already put our pan into medium heat, and we will now put our 1 cup of water. And then we will now put our butter. So we will just lower the heat. Then we will now put our half cup of butter. We will just stir this. And then we will put our 1 tablespoon of sugar. And a 1 teaspoon of salt for the flavor. So we will just mix this, and we will wait this to simmer before we put our 1 cup of flour. Just wait for this to simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes before we put our 1 cup of flour. So now that it is already simmering, we will now put our 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So this is like a churros, but we will bake this instead of frying it. Then we will mix this until it forms like a mashed potato. And we will not turn off the heat until it forms a skin on the pan. Lower the heat. So now that it is already forming a skin on the pan, we will now put this into our piping bag and let it cool. So we will now put this into our mixing bowl to let it cool, and we will put our 4 eggs before we put it into the piping bag. So now we will put this into our mixing bowl to let it cool before we put our 4 eggs, because we don't want the egg to be cooked. So we will just wait for this to cool down. So now that it is already cooled down, we will now put our eggs one by one. Then we'll just like this. So when the eggs are incorporated properly, we will add more. So you can see later in certain recipes, once you have one, we'll just do this one with your hands. And then add that one. So when it is already like this, we will now put this into our piping bag. So we will now put this into our piping bag. So right now we're using a reusable piping bag. And we'll just do this one. But before we put this into our pan, we'll put some water into it to avoid sticking, because we don't have a parchment paper, but this is also a substitution paper, just to avoid sticking the cream puff into the bag. So we think this is enough. So we will now put the mixture into our pan. And then we'll put this into our oven for 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 to 30 minutes until it is ready to come down. But for that, we have to press this up to avoid a sharp spice. And insert. We already set our baking oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we will now put inside our cream puff. And we will wait for this for 25 to 30 minutes. While we are waiting for the cream puff, we will make the pastry cream. So we have here 1 1/2 of milk, half cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, some half cup of milk, some 3 egg yolks, and then 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So first, we will mix the 1 1/2 cup of milk and half cup of sugar. So we will now put this into our pan. And then next is the half cup of sugar. And some 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. So we will just mix this and we will put this into the stove and we will wait for this to boil. And then before we put this into the stove, we will mix the 3 egg yolks and half cup of milk. And then the 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And then we will just mix this. And that's all. So we will just wait for the milk, vanilla extract and sugar mixture to boil before we put the milk and the cornstarch mixture. Once it is already boiling, we will now put our egg yolks, cornstarch and milk mixture. So we will cook this and stir until it thickens. So I can feel now that it is already thickening. We will lower the heat. So since it is already thickened, we'll now turn off the heat. Then we will put a 1 tablespoon of butter, just to give it a shiny texture. And it is ready to go, and we will let this cool down into our refrigerator before we put this into the piping bag and make this a filling for our cream puff. Now check our cream puff if it is already okay. So I think it is already good. Just put this into our cooling rack to avoid the moisture to the bottom. While we are waiting for the pastry cream to cool down, we will now cook our chocolate ganache for the sauce. So first we will put our milk into the pan. And then we will wait for this to simmer. And then we will now put our chocolate chip. Then just mix this until the chocolate chip is solid and for the syrup consistency. So the chocolate chip is enough to mix it up. So by the way, this is the Genesis chocolate chip. And let's go. And I think it's good. Complete our cream puff. So first we will slice this into half. So we will slice 3 pieces of our cream puff. And then we will place this into our plate. And then we will put our pastry cream. And then we will dip this into our chocolate sauce. And then we will put some chocolate powder. is our cream puff.